and welcome. Thanks very much for tuning in to NDTV. I'm Padmaja Joshi. The Modi government presented its second budget of its third term today, championing action over ambivalence, reform over rhetoric and people over populism. In the 53 lakh crore budget, government has raised the capital expenditure target to 12.2 lakh crores for 2027. The fiscal deficit is projected to 4.3% of the GDP. Net tax receipts are estimated at 28.7 lakh crores. The budget has been built around what the finance minister called the Three Kartavya framework. This aims to accelerate economic growth, achieve Viksit Bharat by 2047. The government also termed the debate as a reform express with Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas in focus. The budget has been projected as a reform express. However, soon after the budget announcement, the gold and silver prices saw sharp corrections amid volatile commodity markets. The Prime Minister, though, was absolutely clear that this is about a long-term vision.
ये बजट 2047 के विकसित भारत की हमारी ऊंची उड़ान का मजबूत आधार है। साथियों, आज भारत जिस रिफॉर्म एक्सप्रेस पर सवार है, इस बजट से उसे नई ऊर्जा, नई गति मिलेगी। हाल में जो बड़ी-बड़ी ट्रेड डील्स भारत ने की है, मदर ऑफ ऑल डील्स, उसका मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट भारत के युवाओं को मिले, भारत के लघु और मध्यम उद्योग वालों को मिले। इस दिशा में बजट में बड़े-बड़े कदम उठाए गए हैं।
But as you would imagine, in an year where you have 4 states and 1 union territory going to election, all speculation was centered around what will these states get? Will this be an election budget, and that to states which are very, very high value for the BJP? Kerala, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, where they are not in government but desperately want to wrest power away. Assam, which is again going to be extremely crucial, where you haven't seen a government get a hat trick. But the government decided that it wasn't going to focus on any one state. It is going to be about long-term measures of the long-term vision, like we said, about 2047. And that gave the opposition reason enough to ask, have we been deliberately left out? Congress MP Rahul Gandhi termed the budget blind to India's real crisis. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee called it garbage, directionless and a Humpty Dumpty budget. And politicians across the board from Tamil Nadu asked why even an election made Tamil Nadu invisible to the BJP.
What they said about 3 corridor, that is absolutely a garbage of lies, blatant lies. It is already on process and we have started working there. They have not given a single paisa to Bengal. Only one tax is there, GST. They are taking away our money, are saying big talk. They are giving us money. It is our money.
And there's nothing actually concrete in this budget. And even with the elections in mind, they have not announced anything for Tamil Nadu. They're not giving us anything, but then they want to, mine rare earth from Tamil Nadu.
Kerala has been badly neglected, and when the special corridors, railway corridors have been announced also, Kerala has no mention. Not just that, whatever project has been announced, there is no financial clarity on what has been announced. What the allocation is has not been explained.
Okay, and that brings us to the question, have the election-bound states been invisibilized by the government, as is being alleged? Aparajita Sarangi, BJP MP, joins us along with political analyst Karan Verma, political analyst Sanjay Jha, Salem Dharnidharan, spokesperson of the DMK. Start with that, Aparajita Sarangi. Shashi Tharoor also said, hashtag invisible Kerala. That should be the hashtag for your budget. Such crucial states and nothing for all of these states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Assam, Puducherry, nothing at all.
A very good evening. I must say that this This is a highly pragmatic and balanced budget. There is an echo, I can't talk. Please stop that echo.
I will just have it fixed. Give me 5 seconds, please. Continue, ma'am.
Yes, it's a highly pragmatic budget, and we must accept and acknowledge the fact that it strikes a wonderful balance between sustaining the growth momentum in the country and at the same time, keeping fiscal deficit in check. 4.4% fiscal deficit going down to 4.3%. So I think this is a challenge, and our government has taken on that challenge, that task very well. And this particular budget reflects that. This is definitely a very strong step forward towards Viksit Bharat 2047. Now, having said that, I must say that there would be naysayers. If there is day, there is night, and if there is evil, there is good. So I think it's a combination of both. There would be people who will be...
But is this budget evil or good?
But let me tell you that...
All the 4 states are saying it's an evil budget.
I am saying that good is good because there is something which is bad. And we value day because there is night. So I think we value the naysayers, we value their opinions, but let me complete my statement. I must say that this is a budget which actually touches upon the untouched areas. Did we ever talk about the electronic component manufacturing mission? Did we ever talk about 40,000 crore has been earmarked for that particular thing? And we must accept that rare earth corridors are being thought of. I think this is something very interesting. We are also talking of the National Institute of Design. We are talking of National Institute of Hospitality. These are areas which we never talk about.
Okay.
And one thing in this list I would definitely like to add, animation, visual effects, gaming and comic sector. Imagine, who thought we needed 2 million professionals by 2030, and we should actually work for that. So I think this is something, this particular budget is a budget which reflects the intent of the government. It says that the government thinks about all, and in the initial points that Madam Nirmala Sitharaman made, she did mention about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas.
Okay.
So I think all states have been thought of.
Okay, so don't think of any elections.
How come we haven't thought about Tamil Nadu and Kerala?
All right, let's open this up and bring in Salem Dharanidharan. Why think of only election-bound states? This is an all-encompassing budget. As Aprajita Sarangi has said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and bonus for you, the finance minister even wore a sari from Tamil Nadu. Salem Dharanidharan.
Sari Tirkural does not matter, Padmaja, but I go further and say this is a budget for the 1%. There is nothing in it for anyone except for the super rich corporates. The biggest problem in our economy is the problem of unemployment. 50% of the youth are not even in the labor force. Labor force participation in India for 18 to 30 years of age is only 50-odd%. And the problem is mainly because lack of demand, lack of consumption in rural areas. Rural wages and urban wages are stagnant or reducing. What have we done? Nothing. The Nobel laureates such as Joseph Stiglitz from Colombia, Abhijit Banerjee, Esther Duflo, all said you have to put money in hands of the poor. I don't think there's anything that this budget has that is going to put money in hands of the poor. Of course, we have some schemes that look into things in perspective of long term. But as Keynes said, and Manmohan Singh spoke 20 years back, we are all dead in the long term. So what is in it in the short term? What is it going to do to propel the Indian economy?
No, and there will always be room for improvement. But look, if you're saying that there is nothing specific to any one state, every state has got some schemes. Last time, when there were very specifically targeted promises made for Bihar, that time everyone cried foul and said, oh, this is only about winning an election in Bihar. This time around, it's being said, let's do something which is more wholesome. It should be about the entire country. Apparently, that is also a problem. Why? It can't be, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
No, anyways, I was just commenting on the overall budget and didn't go into Tamil Nadu. Now I will say, we wanted metro in Madurai, no metros announced in Madurai. We wanted metro in Coimbatore, no more funds allocated. We wanted funds for expansion of phase 2 of Chennai metro, no funds allocated. We want Hosur airport, no funds allocated. Salem airport now operates 6 flights every day, no funds allocated for expansion of Salem airport. No new airports in Tamil Nadu announced. no funds for any other, no money allocated for AIMS Madurai, no money allocated for additional setting up of central universities in Tamil Nadu, no money allocated for SSA, 3,500 crores spending, 3,200 crores for Jal Jeevan not allocated for Tamil Nadu, which we were expecting. So Tamil Nadu has been given step by step, and more importantly and pertinently, because of climate change, Tamil Nadu is facing a lot of floods. We've been asking for climate change mitigation fund for Tamil Nadu, which has not been allocated. When Bihar, which is prone to much lesser floods than Tamil Nadu, based on data, based on research, I am not saying it. IPCC report, UNEP is saying it. Bihar was allocated 30,000 odd crores for flood mitigation, but Tamil Nadu has been allocated zero. Why the step by the treatment? Tamil Nadu is the most affected state, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, by climate change. Who is responsible for climate change? No one.
Karan Verma, specific demands were made, and a very stark example that is being given here by the DMK, flood relief. Kerala, Tamil Nadu versus Bihar. Bihar, because you're an NDA government, was given preference over Tamil Nadu. Why? String of broken promises.
So, Padmaja, I'll first give you a direct benefit that has been given to Tamil Nadu. I mean, firstly, I'm not in favor of, budget being looked through that prism. I'm glad that they've not had poll-bound states in mind. Last year, when they declared the budget, everybody said, oh, it's a Bihar-centric budget. So, be that as it may be, but there is one benefit that extends entirely.
But that's the thing, when it is Bihar-centric, that is also a masterstroke. Right? This time it is not poll state-centric, this is also a masterstroke. That's the grouse of the opposition. Either way, it becomes a masterstroke.
So, I'll tell you how it's beneficial. Our good friend from DMK was saying what's in it for Tamil Nadu. One of the biggest things I think that came up today and was widely applauded also was the tax-free right being given to companies, the cloud companies who have the data centers in India. Now, Tamil Nadu happens to be the host of the maximum data centers along with Telangana. So that's a benefit going directly to Tamil Nadu, because that's a sector that's booming in Tamil Nadu and badly needed this tax push. So I'm glad we are having this type of a tax push. It will help Tamil Nadu directly. It will help the country overall. So, we can't really say that there's nothing in it for Tamil Nadu. There is a direct benefit here that we see in terms of cloud computing and data centers being set up in India. Tamil Nadu can benefit out of that immensely. As far as floods and other things, there are always going to be those grouses. I mean, nobody is ever going to be completely satisfied. There's only that much you have. I am disappointed with the STT, for example, the security transaction tax. That shouldn't have happened. When you have the long-term capital gain tax, you have another capital gain tax for buying back of shares. You didn't need an STT. That sent the market into chaos today. So I personally feel that's not there. They might have a point of view that, it was necessary to curb.
There was too much speculation,
But I thought that was unnecessary. But Tamil Nadu for sure has something to cheer about today, if you ask me.
Okay, Selam Thanidharan, do you want to quickly respond? And in addition to that, a rare earth corridor, a high-speed rail corridor, and a clinical trial site as well.
You're talking about one or two things that's been done for Tamil Nadu, but you have to understand, union government as such does not have any money. It is only what the states contribute. So when Tamil Nadu gives 1 rupee, we get only 29 paise back. Where does the remaining money go? To fund other states such as Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar. I have no problem with that. I want to help other states. But the money that has to come back is what rightfully we are supposed to get that money. It is not that the union government is doing us a great favor by announcing.
Nobody is doing a favor, but look, nobody will ever have their entire laundry list fulfilled, right? I mean, technically, even I would want that I get huge tax rebates, but that is not going to happen. That's just how life is. Life is tough.
That's not how life is.
You had 20 demands from the center in the budget. You got 4 out of it.
That's not how life is.
I had 10 demands, not even one got fulfilled. But that's life.
No, that's not how life is. I'll tell you what.
Ideally, I want not to pay taxes. I don't want STT. But here we are.
But only if individual states will go, can the country grow. So when you deprive developed states of money, only the country's growth is getting stifled. That is something that we have to remember very clearly. So by giving money to Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Telangana, you're only improving the country because the country's GDP is going to grow.
Okay.
By not giving money to the most developed states, you are only ruining the GDP growth of the country.
Okay, very quickly, Aprajita Sarangi, respond to what DMK is saying, because I want to bring in the angle of Mamata Banerjee as well, because she was very clear. She was like garbage of lies. Before you respond to her, please respond to Tamil Nadu's demands and grouses.
I am quite amused today. last year when the budget was presented, these were the people who were saying everything has gone to the poll-bound states, and BJP is trying to appease the people of these states which are going for polls. And today, in fact, the chameleon of the highest order, they have changed their colors. It's strange. They are saying nothing for the poll-bound states. Having said that, let me remind them that there are two things for Tamil Nadu. My friends from Tamil Nadu must remember. Apart from other things, two things are specifically for Tamil Nadu. One is the rare earth corridor. 4 states have been mentioned: Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, specifically by Honorable Finance Minister. And number 2, textile skilling ecosystem strengthening has been mentioned as one of our major goals. Now, when we talk of textile, we also think of the weavers of Tirupur. So I think let us not say that nothing has been thought about when Tamil Nadu, nothing has been thought about in the budget for Tamil Nadu. This is absolutely wrong.
Okay, before you respond, I really must bring in Sanjay Jha as well. What do you make of this argument? Just a second.
12.25 lakh.
Okay, only 30 seconds, but Salem Dhanidharan, I really must bring in Sanjay.
20 seconds, Padmaja, 20 seconds. See, the textile park scheme for integrated textile park was started by the UPA in 2005. Tirupur Textile Park, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Textile Park, Madurai Textile Park were all started in UPA era, completed in 2010, 2011 itself, including the Meha Food Park. And we are speaking about it after 13 years now. Even Hero Textile Park. So all the textile parks that have been set up in Tamil Nadu were set up during the era of UPA itself. See, rare earth corridor, it's also going to benefit the union government. Their friends are going to get the contract. So, but I am saying, what about the infrastructure push, capital expenditure in Tamil Nadu based on the money that we have sent to the union government? Don't you want metros to happen in the tier 2 cities of Tamil Nadu so that the country can grow? That is my question.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, let's be honest over here. There is a situation now where the world economy is going through pressure. We cannot be immune from that. We cannot be isolated from that. Within those constraints, this is a somber budget. Yes, there is not a lot of splashy headlines coming out, but basically they are saying we'll hunker down. We've done some major reforms last year. We've done the GST reforms. We've done the tax reforms. We've done our FTAs. And now we are just going to plod along stolidly. So yes, you're right. No big bang announcements there, but it's a solid, somber budget.
Padmaja, good evening to you and to the fellow panelists. The truth, Padmaja, is that this government doesn't have any more elbow room unless it wanted to step out of this obsession with fiscal prudence and consolidation and try and actually invest in sectors that truly need more government support. The finance minister is actually, in my opinion, extremely conservative and chose not to do that. But there are 4 fundamental points. I'll very briefly mention them because I'm glad we are having a serious discussion on the budget. Point number 1 is this, that the entire GDP and the statistical data of this government has been questioned not just by the International Monetary Fund, who have called it C grade, and it should be a worry for our country, because if international institutions that fund countries and that are considered to be, shall we say, the holy grail of looking at data, if they find India's data suspect, we are no different from China. Number 1. Number 2, jobs. We have gone insane repeating ad nauseum about India's demographic dividend. Mr. Modi's government has been in power for 11 years. Padmaja, we are not even yet seen the impact of AI and more capital-intensive manufacturing in the future. India's young, in my opinion, are being deprived of their dreams. In this budget, as in the previous budgets, there is nothing that gives you the feeling that they're going to be able to boost manufacturing, because the only way India will sort out the problem of employment is by giving the youth a role in manufacturing. Services cannot do enough. Everybody knows that. And end of day, you can't call street vendors the pakora economics of Narendra Modi, you're including them as employed. That's not the way it works. You're living in a fool's paradise, BJP. Point number 3, very important. Can you imagine, Padmaja, that you and I, our owners, your owner is a very rich man, there are multiple billionaires in this country. Personal income tax collections are higher than corporate income tax. I want to, I have a lot of respect for Mrs. Sarangi. She's one of the few more, restrained spokespersons on TV. Her government in 2019 gave 150,000 crore tax subsidy to the corporate sector. 150,000 crores. If you multiply over the last 7 years, India has foregone 10 lakh crores of tax that the government could have collected. You know what the corporate sector told India? I'm not anti-corporate, by the way. I'm part of the corporate sector myself. Here is the truth. They said we will create private investment. Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman went on record to say this is going to create a job boom.
Okay.
Nothing's happened. There are no jobs. Private capital investment has not happened. And my last point, very important. Look at the rupee. If India was truly a resilient, booming economy, your foreign currency would not be in a free fall.
Okay.
I mean, the truth is that India today is facing a situation where, against, can you imagine, the pound is at over 125.
Okay, you pointed out many wider problems, but before I get a response to that, do you agree in principle with the idea of not having an election-centric budget? Because that's going to make it very myopic.
I'll tell you what, Padmaja, you're a seasoned veteran in covering politics, right? Mr. Modi recognizes the importance of the elections coming up. Probably Mr. Modi realizes they're not going to do too well. And I think we all know the writing on the wall, at least in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, and probably even West Bengal. But here is a bigger point here that I want to tell you.
And will you concede if they happen to do well in these states, that they won despite not giving anything in the budget? Then that would mean like insane popularity.
Well,
shortchange us in the budget, and yet if they happen to do well there.
Well, Padmaja, before I get into that, that's like saying that if my auntie wore pajama shoot by my uncle, we'll have to wait and see. But the larger point that Mrs. Sarangi will have to answer. Mrs. Sarangi, I hope you know that the dollar has been, in the last couple of weeks, is performed at its lowest against all international currencies. It's at a 4-year low. But it's hammering the Indian rupee. Can you imagine? The dollar is being hammered globally, but it's hammering the Indian rupee.
Okay, Karan Verma answer. And just to gently point out that aunties have been wearing pajamas for centuries now without being called uncles. But anyway, on a serious note, answer that, Karan Verma, that even in this holistic budget, there are several problems. Most importantly, job creation, nothing specifically to address it, and the falling rupee. That shows a problem. And the budget doesn't address it.
So Padmaja, you can look at it whichever way you want, but the fact is the fundamentals of our economy have been pretty solid. I agree with my good friend Sanjay when he says that Nirmala Sitharaman is slightly conservative. I agree with him on that. I think she needs to be slightly more dynamic on that front. I agree that that's a point well taken. But if you say that our economy isn't right there when we are growing at a rate of more than 7.5% and our inflation is less than 1%, I think it's an unbelievable feat to have pulled that off. You look at our periodic labor force survey data, our unemployment isn't as such through the roof as Sanjay is pointing out. In fact, it's very much within reasonable limits. Of course, we can do much better. He's right when he says the private investment hasn't kicked in as much as we would have liked. That's a fair point that has to be taken into account.
And our tax collections are also falling behind estimates.
Needs to go up.
Also needs to be pointed out that tax collections are falling behind the estimates. So there is a stress on the tax paying population as well.
But you can't. Right, but when he says that we cannot give, that the subsidies to the corporate shouldn't have been given, they should have been given. If not for that, we can't have that sort of corporate competitiveness. What do you want? At a time when the entire there's global turmoil, you don't want your corporates to feel the heat. You want to make sure that this remains a lucrative destination for investment. In fact, I oppose the STT. That should have never happened, which sent the markets into panic. So I don't think the economy is in that bad a shape as Sanjay points out. There are 2-3 valid points that he's made, but in no way is our economy not in a robust shape.
About being too conservative, but on the political point, answer that Aprajita Sarangi, Sanjay Jha is hazarding a guess that this is the real exit poll, the first one which has come even before the dates are announced, that you have absolutely lost hope in all of these states, which is why, unlike Bihar, where you saw hope, this time you haven't even bothered with Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Assam and West Bengal. You realize how uphill and task this is.
I think the opposition should be happy about it. We are not here to appease the people of the poll-bound states. We are concerned about the interests of 1.4 billion people, and which includes...
But weren't you concerned about 1.4 billion people last year when you made it so specific to Bihar?
Absolutely, 1.4 billion people, and these people were the ones who actually cried horse. I remember I was in one of the TV debates with you only. And unfortunately today they have reversed their stand. The fact remains that This time I started by saying that we tried to touch the untouched areas. Very interesting areas have been touched. You know, I talk about the National Institute of Hospitality. Who talked about those? Who talked about the development of the archaeological sites ever? Who talked about the development of cities, or rather the towns with temples? I belong to Bhubaneswar. I represent Bhubaneswar in the Lok Sabha. It's a city of temples. Never ever any government talked about the development of the temples in a city because it attracts tourists. And this particular budget did. So I am sure we were not into rhetoric. We wanted to work for the people. We wanted to fill in the gaps. Wherever there were issues which we had not addressed for long, we did address through this budget.
Okay.
And
quick response, Sanjay Jha. No rhetoric, only real things that can be achieved in a difficult environment. Sanjay Jha.
Well, let me tell you, I believe, Padmaja, that every human life in a country matters. And the budget should be about the people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. Let me give Madam Sarangi a data. Do you know, madam, that 18,000 young people of this country in between 2018 to 23 committed suicide because they did not have jobs? I mean, do we understand the importance of what this data tells you? I mean, there is enough reports. We have debated it, Padmaja, on your shows very often, where for a position of 2,000 or 1 lakh government jobs, there are PhDs and engineers and MBAs applying in millions. And we know how railway platforms get crowded because they are desperate for a job.
Aprajita Sarangi, why no specifics about job creation? Aprajita Sarangi, then Selam Dhanidharan.
See, we are aware of the fact that ours is a fastest growing major economy. Our macro fundamentals are very strong. In fact, all of us are aware of all these things, and we are becoming the third largest economy by surpassing Germany in the days to come. And as far as the inflation is concerned, it is low. Unemployment rate is quite low. I think we are moving. And I must tell you that India is, I will never say that the finance minister is conservative. I would say India is economically dynamic and trying to be socially inclusive. Let's accept and acknowledge that. We are also trying to be environmentally sustainable and institutionally capable. So these are the 4 letters I wanted to put forth before you, ESEI. I think India is trying very hard, and you know, it's a country of 1.4 billion people. And let me come back to that question before you ask me to wind up. What about the weakening of the rupee, the volatility of the rupee? Let me tell you, these are 2 different things. Macro fundamentals strong, India is a larger, fastest growing economy, and things are very positive as far as economic aspects of India are concerned. As far as the rupee strengthening or rupee weakening is concerned, let me tell you that there are global headwinds. There are issues beyond the country. And you know, that is why the global settings. You know, we are in an age of global uncertainty.
Yeah, can I come in here, Padmaja?
Okay, everyone wants to jump in now. There's a smile on both Selam Dhanidharan and Sanjay Jha's face. Yes, Selam Dhanidharan, you go first.
Between the 2.
Yeah. Who? I go first?
Yes, go on.
Yeah, firstly and foremost, I have to interject in 3-4 things. The first is the growth. India grew 4 times from 2004 to 14 under the UPA. Under the NDA, India grew only 2.5 times. She says that, we have overtaken Germany. But we have to remember, Germany is only 8 crore people and we have 150 crore people. So what happened to per capita GDP? Our per capita GDP remains stagnant. That Bangladesh, which per capita GDP is 50% lower than that of India, has now overtaken India 2 years back under this government. There's shame on this government. Shame. And when Madam spoke about fundamentals, I'll tell you, our fiscal deficit is at 4.3, higher than the 3.5% limit. Yeah. Our debt to GDP, including the states, is 88%. It's going to touch 100%. And currency. Why is the Indian currency failing? Is simply because of lack of demand. The additional profits which the corporates have made because of the government incentives, they are sent abroad and not invested here.
Okay.
There is no investor
confidence in
the share market. There is no investors.
Okay, I only have a last minute left. 30 seconds to Karan Verma and then Sanjay Jha. 30 seconds Karan Verma, then Sanjay Jha.
Okay.
So, Padmaja, let's not, pass a generic statement on the economy just because of the budget. We've signed FTAs, we've had GST reforms, we've had giant reforms like insolvency and bankruptcy. Our exports haven't gone down despite the tariffs. So, we have to have a holistic viewpoint. Our friend Sanjay Jha just said that jobs are a need. I don't remember any government that is so committed to keep expanding the way this government is. And every crore spent on infrastructure creates 200 to 250 man hours of employment. So they are committed to creating employment. We can't doubt their intention there. They are spending money where it creates employment, Padmaja. So this has to be looked at holistically.
All right, look at it holistically. Yes, there are problems right now, but to cotton on to that and say that there is nothing in this budget is unfair. Also factor in what's happening around us. Sanjay Jha, last 30 seconds, please.
Padmaja, very quickly. Madam Sarangi kept talking about the GDP, but she did not tell you that the per capita income of India is the lowest amongst G20 countries. And that is the tragedy for the common man of India and the middle class. Point number 2, Geeta Gopinath in Davos was very clear. Don't worry about tariffs. Can you solve your AQI? Can you solve your pollution? You're not getting investment because of these reasons. No answers from the government. And last but not the least, they claim there is low inflation. Let me tell you something, Padmaja, as an economist, I know this detail. Unemployment is linked to low inflation. When there is high unemployment, people don't have jobs, they don't have income. If they don't have incomes, they can't spend. If they can't spend, there will be no demand. If there's no demand, the inflation is bound to be low. There is a direct correlation between high employment and low inflation. This government is a disaster of epic proportions.
All right. I suspect that over the next few days, we'll be dissecting this more minutely. Tomorrow, we're also expecting Rahul Gandhi to make a statement on this. He said, I'll take some time and tomorrow in Parliament, I'm going to put forward my views on this. For the time being, though, thanks very much, all gentlemen, and Aprachita Sarangi for joining me.